गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrutanubhav, chapter 5. Chapter 5 क्या है chapter ये? Chapter 5 Satchidananda Padatraya Vivarna, evaluation and inadequacy of the terms Satchid and Ananda. We are in OV number 17 and we were looking at which authority can establish the existence of that which cannot become an object of knowledge, since it is not an object but is the self-effulgent self. So it is the self knowing the self, is the self illuminating the self. It doesn't need any other source of knowledge in order to know it. What is other source of knowledge? Example, reference, means, nothing. Thoughts, feelings, meditation, contemplation, scriptures. It doesn't need anything in order to know itself. Why? Because it is self-knowing. And that which is self-illumined, which is totally independent, can that be illumined by anything else? No. Can any other authority try to establish its existence? No. This subject I does not depend on any other object. It is self-determined, self-existing and self-effulgent. Now you look at yourself. Do you need to know you are the body to be? When you are sleeping, you don't know you are the body, but you are still there. You are sitting in meditation. You know you cannot see or feel the form of your body, but you are still there. You cannot, in meditation, if you have reached that point where you are not thinking, you are still there. So that is your direct experience, that is your natural state, that is your sahaj bhav, that you are, in spite of any other means of knowledge, reference, etc. But we are imagining. What we are imagining? My existence is because of my husband, my existence is because of my children, my existence is because of this body, my existence is because of all the paraphernalia that you have collected around you, and on account of that I am. This is wrong conclusion. Self is self-existing. Self is self-illumined. Nothing, no other means of knowledge can illuminate the self that I am. I is full stop. I am full stop. I doesn't need the subject. What is your experience at this moment as an individual? That the subject needs to interact with the object. Then it feels everything is normal. Right? The seer needs the seen. The hearer needs the heard. The experiencer needs the experienced. The waker needs the waking world. The dreamer needs the dream world for its existence. This is our disposition at this moment. But the truth is that the true I that I am, it does not need. Am I the subject which is in coexisting with the object, or am I the subject which is independent, self-determined, self-effulgent? Which subject am I? So I am that subject which does not need anything in order to prop itself up. The lower I, it needs some object in order to prop itself up. The wife I needs the husband to prop itself up. The mother I needs the children to prop itself up. The seer I needs the seen world to prop itself up. The experiencer I needs the experienced in order to prop itself up. But is it the same story with regards to the supreme I, the true nature of ourselves? If you look into it a little bit, you will find, अरे मेरे को तो किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. I have always been. There has never been. If there is no wife, there is no husband, there is no children, there is no house, there is no body, I still am. And you have all these experiences in your 4 states. So come to the correct conclusion. Recognize yourself as that. Once the object is dropped and one turns inwards and reaches the correct destination of the subject, thereafter even the word subject has got no meaning. What do you mean by subject has no meaning? Then even the word I has got no meaning. Why? The I that we are considering ourselves to be is the seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, thinker, experiencer, knower, waker, dreamer, sleeper. These are coming and going. And they are with reference to something or someone. But when we come to be the I, to the exclusion of everything else, without any reference, which is our natural state, as a result of purification, as a result of contemplation, as a result of slowly weaning yourself away from the world and then the mind and then the intellect and coming to the subject, then you will realize that this I is not I also. Then what it is? It is all that there is. It is one without a second. Because subject is a word only with respect to object. I is a word only, aham is a word only with respect to idam, subject, object. Aham is the subject, idam is the object. But when you have come to the pure aham, without a thought, you have come to this has been revealed to you as a result of your contemplation. Thereafter, the subject cannot be called as subject also, because there is no opposition anywhere. There is nothing to relate with anything anywhere. Why? Because the true I is all that there is. everything is included in it. If everything is included, then where is something for it to relate with? Then it is, yes, then it is relating with itself. In the same way, once the words Satchit and Ananda have been used to negate their opponents, thereafter no purpose is served in calling Sat as Sat, because other than Sat there is nothing else. So then these words Sat, Chit, Ananda, they are only used in opposition to Asat, Achit and Dukkham. And once Asat, Achit and Dukkham are made impotent, have dissolved, have melted away, have been annihilated as a result of our focus on the word Sat, Chit or Anand, or in other words, the subject whose true nature is Satchidanand, then even the word Satchidanand don't need to be used. The word subject also doesn't need to be used, because it has done its job. Its job was to cancel the opposite. The aham, the focus on who am I, is because you don't want to be distracted by who I am not. So you focus on who am I. How long will you focus on who am I? As long as who I am not or who I am imagining to be is disturbing you, till then you will keep asking this question, or this question will keep propping up. But when there is no doubt, meaning there is no distraction, there is no corruption, then I is I. It has got nothing to associate with, because everything has been resolved, melted away, dissolved. Then this who am I question also does not have any meaning. It will also drop away. Then, because then there the focus was on I, then this I also will drop away, the subject will also drop away, and what remains is that infinite truth, the true self. And to be in this state continuously is meditation. To be in this state continuously, whether you are in waking, whether you are in dream, whether you are in sleep, whether you are sitting cross-legged and sitting in meditation physical pose, whether you are fighting, whether you are arguing, whether you are praying, whether you are whatever, doing your profession, there has never been a time in past, present or future when this Shuddha Aham, where this pure I has ever been corrupted. It is not possible only. It is impossible for it to be corrupted. And when this recognition comes, such a person is Mahatma, such a person is Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not that special event in which you run away from the world and sit in meditation for few hours. This is Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In spite of the thoughts, you are in Nirvikalpa. You are Nirvikalpa. Meaning, there is no owner of the thoughts. There is no, the lower I, the subject as a subject is not born. You remain as the ultimate one. The phenomenal one comes and goes. Let it come and go. That is functional. You have discovered who you truly are. You are the one who is one without a second. This contemplative thought is continued. Prameya parichede pramanatvanande te kaya swatah siddhe vastu chathai. The means of knowledge have meaning on account of the object of knowledge. How can it hold good for the self-ascertained existence? The means of knowledge have meaning on account of object of knowledge. The faculties have meaning, the means of knowledge, the faculties, the thoughts, the senses, the convictions, the knowledge, the changing knowledge. All these are the means. They have meaning only where there is an objective world. If there is no objective world in the first place, then what is the meaning? What is the purpose of these faculties? No purpose. They also melt away. Meaning, melt away means what? Dissolve away means what? Means you are not available to body identification. You are not available to your senses. You are not available to the thoughts. See? The means of knowledge have meaning only when there is an object of knowledge. If there is nothing in front of you, there is no object in front of you, cover yourself, your head with your shawl. It's all dark inside. Keep your eyes open. Sit in a soundproof room. What will be your experience? So your eyes are open, but nothing to see. You can't even see the shawl. Then what will happen? Find out. Find out. The means of knowledge have meaning only when there is an object of knowledge. The pramana, the means of knowledge is pramana, are the eyes, and the prameya. Prameya is the known. And the prameya are the colors and forms. The pramana are the ears, and the prameya is the sound. The pramana is the sakshi, and the prameya is the thought. See, sakshi is also only at the relative level only. If sakshi means the witness. Witness is only at the relative level. Before this eye was attached, now it has become detached. It has not merged, it is detached. But this fellow is still, he is now what? Observer, witness, sakshi. Sakshi of what? Of all this. Gross body, subtle body, causal body. And what is the position of sakshi? It recognizes it is not these. It recognizes that it is other than these. It is undisturbed by coming and going of these. Just like your knowledge that you are the sakshi of the three states, day in and day out. Waking, dream, sleep, come and go every day and go away every day. Don't you know it? Yes, I know it. So you are the sakshi. But sakshi's attention is still not on the self. It is still on the outside. And there is every possibility that in a moment of unalertness, in a moment of weakness, in a moment of a very strong desire or some disturbance from within the mind, the sakshipan, being the sakshi will get lost, because you will get pulled into the mind. And that's exactly what is happening in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. If you are sitting in meditation, that is what is happening. And it is required also initially. But we are talking about Jnaneshwar Maharaj's, he is telling where he is established. And we must get there. You leave some loophole, again you will find yourself back into the world. Same way, the means of knowledge is the sakshi, and the known object of knowledge is the thoughts. And that is also your natural. If I say, what did I say just now, what example I gave, you can tell me. Why? How come you can tell me? Because naturally you were the witnesser, you were witnessing what was being heard by the mind. That's why you are able to recreate it. If you were, if your position was I am listening, then you are one with what is listening, being listened to. Then you should not be able to recreate what you have heard. Not possible. See? So contemplate on these things and sort this identity of ours. Which one are you? Are you the Gaunatma? Are you the Mithyatma? Are you the Sakshi? Or are you the Mukhyatma? See? So the Pramana is the Sakshi and the Prameya is the thought. Thereafter, neither the knower nor the known are separate from each other. See? The one who is hungry, hungry for what? Food. And once the one who is hungry has become one with the food, then what happens? Then the hunger goes away. You are fulfilled. True. This is your experience. But who knows? Who knows of the fulfillment? Who knows that the one who was hungry has become fulfilled now? Think. Because the one who was hungry is over now, because he is no longer hungry. But who is observing that there was hunger before, now there is no hunger? Hunger cannot be for the food, hunger cannot be for the senses, hunger is for the I, the ego I, the one which becomes hungry, the one which becomes thirsty. That I has become one with the food, it's fulfilled now. So no more hunger. If there is no hunger for food, there is no desire for food inside, then that I, which was the hungry I, is no longer there. If that hungry I is no longer there, then who is there? You are still there, no? Think. So when we are in meditation, when we are a bit composed, collected, in poise, we become the Sakshi. But Sakshi is only Sakshipan. The Sakshi Abhyas is done only as long as there is, it is better than remaining with reference to objects. So the Sakshi is observing all the thoughts, all objects are thoughts only, is observing all the thoughts and not getting disturbed by them. Seeing is happening, hearing is happening, touching, all things are happening, experience is happening, knowledge is taking place, but no knower is being born. No knower is being born. This is how Mahatmas function. In that which is self-determined, how can pramana, prameya, parichheda differentiation exist? So, the self which is self-determined, self-effulgent, self-knowing, how can this difference of knower, known, knowing, seer, seen, seeing, experiencer, experienced, experiencing, How can these three, which are different from each other, the seer is other than the seen, the seer and the seen are other than the instruments of knowledge, the seeing. Paricheda means the differentiation. That's what it says. Prameya parichede. In empirical knowledge, differentiation is the norm. Empirical knowledge, where you consider yourself to be the body, where you, as a result, you consider yourself to be an individual, the default is experiences of differentiation. Default setting. Nothing can be done about it. The moment you accept yourself as the body, you will see the one as broken up into many. You will see the triad. You will see the waker, you will experience the waker, dreamer, sleeper. You will see the world, which is essentially one, but you will see the differences in the world. Why are you seeing the differences in the world? Because you are identified with one form. That's why you are seeing. That's why then you will start feeling persecuted by the world. Then you will see the ugliness and the beauty of the world. Then you will have likes and dislikes for the world. Then the downward spiral begins for the unintelligent one, for the unaware one. So how can you become disidentified from the body? Not by dying, not by sleeping, not by going into coma, not by drugs, not by alcohol. Then how? Come back to be the self. Come back to be the self. Be the self, which is your natural state. Focus on the self. To know that I am, there is no need for any pramana or authority. You don't need any authority of the scriptures. You don't need the authority of your parents or your children or anyone in the world to tell you that you are. You don't need the authority of your five senses to tell you that you are. You don't need the authority of thoughts and feelings to know that you are. You don't need the authority of conviction, logic, concepts, imagination to know that you are. When you need all these, then you become. Then you are trying to establish the ego. But to be who you are, you don't need any of the pramanas, gross or subtle. To know that I am, there is no need for any pramana or authority. The moment one tries to produce proof for one's own existence, one has already fallen from the absolute existence. So the moment you try to justify that you are realized, the moment you try to prove that you are realized, the moment you try to show off that you are realized, the moment you have a doubt that you are realized, the moment you use the thoughts. A Mahatma also uses it, but he never forgets who he is. The language is the same. See? So if we use the pramanas in order to pop up the self, then we have already fallen from the absolute. Because the one who is absolute From his point, thoughts have no meaning, pramanas have no meaning, and object of knowledge has got no meaning. Then what has meaning for him? Only the self. Then what about the body? What about the pramanas, which means the body, the senses, the mind, the intellect? And what about the objective world, which is known through these through the senses, mind, and intellect? What is the disposition of the master, of the realized one? What does he see everywhere? Does he see through the eyes? If we say he sees through the eyes, then he becomes the seer. If we say he experiences the world through this body, then he becomes the experiencer. But what is his position? He has transcended everything. See, you can't even imagine what his disposition will be like. The only way you can come to know is by getting there. And some attempt the scriptures make to explain. And whenever they do make that attempt, they say, we also have got no authority to tell what is the disposition of the realized one. Because we are also inert. We are also of this world. The moment one tries to produce proof for one's own existence, one has already fallen from the absolute existence. And see, if we are indulging in memories, if we are indulging in our marriage photographs, childhood photographs, events of the past, and nostalgically remember them every time our children come or our old friends come, and we just bring out all those memories and revel in them, we are doing big disservice to yourself if you are as a seeker. Because all that indulgence into the past is only concretizing your empirical. See, we have to get out of that. And therefore, masters, sannyasis, they again and again keep repeating, the scriptures keep repeating, do not talk about your past to anyone. Do not. And when will you talk about past? When you are indulging in your past. When for you, your past holds importance in your mind, then you will automatically, it will become a topic of discussion. Let it be. For that, alertness and vigilance is required. When mind is trying to prop those memories up, brush them away. Stay calm, stay quiet. Don't need to say anything. See? The thought continues as to how knowingness or jnatrutva is absent in the absolute being. Jnatrutva means he is no longer, what jnatrutva means, here it says knowingness. What is this knowingness? The being the seer, being the hearer, being the toucher, being the feeler, being the thinker, being the waker, dreamer, sleeper, all these earths, all this is knowingness. So he is not taking any specific position. These are all specific. With respect to the pramana called the eyes, he becomes the seer. The eye becomes the seer. With reference to the pramana called the ears, he becomes the hearer. with reference to the pramana called thought, he becomes the Sakshi. Sakshi is not for the whole world. Sakshi is always for your own mind. But are you only the Sakshi of the mind, or are you the Sakshi of the try to be the Sakshi of the whole world? You have reached you are one with God. See? And what is the God's disposition? That He is the Upadan and the Nimitta Karan of the whole world. It must come to that. This obsession that I am witnessing my thoughts is an expression of body identification. I am witnessing my thoughts is an expression of body identification. Identification still has not melted completely. See? एवं वस्तुसि जानो जाता जाणणेची वस्तु तत्वता मग जाणणे आणि जाणता कैचा उरे. He says, in this way, knowing the self essentially is itself being the self. Thereafter, what is the possibility of knower and knowing? In this way, knowing the self, the Sadvastu, is being it. So, knowing the self is being the self. What are we doing? We want to know the self through the means, through the authority of the thoughts. That makes us become a seeker. But if we do not use the means of the thoughts to be, as told in the previous verse, then you don't become anything. Then what happens? Then you are. So before you were the pramata was using the pramana to know the prameya. Now he has become a seeker. As a seeker, the seeker, the pramata, is using the pramana called the thoughts to know the prameya called the I. This is called, in our language, a scriptural language, it is called nididhyasana. Meditation, contemplation. If you can remain focused on it. How long will you remain focused? Till the fuel doesn't finish of objectivity. Then what will happen? I'm talking from relative standpoint. Then what will happen? Then you will not need when there is no disturbance left, then you don't need the pramana, then you don't need the prameya, because prameya is the self. It has to click. A certain level of purification happens where you say, Arey, I am the pramata, I am the knower, and the prameya is the object of knowledge, and I am the object of knowledge. So I am seeking myself through the mind, which is through the thoughts, by the means of thoughts. Am I stupid? Why I have to think of myself and seek myself? I am always. I have never had an experience of my absence. This has to click without any doubt. This has to click wherein you are permanently absorbed in yourself as yourself. That is, so you were trying to know yourself. Now what has happened? Knowing has taken place. because the pramana, the objective, the what do you call, the objectivity was maintained, the objectivity of the self was maintained because of our obsession with thoughts, our obsession with pramana. And pramana is only possible in the body. I'm talking about gross, subtle, or causal, okay? So thoughts are subtle. So you are still obsessed with thinking, therefore you are objectifying the self as I and seeking the self, contemplating Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan. It is because we still have this disposition that I am the body, I have to think about the self. And the day from within this realization comes, I don't need thoughts to be, I am. That very moment, whether you bring it about by Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasam, whenever it happens, whichever way it happens, it will happen by grace. It cannot happen by your efforts. And when it happens, that very moment, if the identification with the body has dropped, that means pramana has dropped. Pramana means means of knowledge have dropped from your, you are no longer obsessed with them. If you are not obsessed with means of knowledge are only there to establish the object of knowledge. If means of knowledge are not there, object of knowledge have no meaning. See the connection. If object of knowledge has got no meaning, now they are both fulfilling each other, no? The means of knowledge, the eyes have meaning only if there is color and form. If you have withdrawn from the eyes, then colors and form have got no meaning. See? Then if colors and forms are not there and you have withdrawn from the eyes, then is there a need for the seer? No. So, okay, seer is not there. But is the I there? Yeah, I will continue. That I which has not become the seer, that which has not become the hearer, that which has not become anything, is the Sakshi. Is the witness. Then the next step is that this remain, continue, undisturbed, till your old data is all finished, then that Sakshi will fall back into himself. Either you can wait or you can, instead of remaining, when you are in the world, you remain a Sakshi, function through your life as a Sakshi. And when the pull comes from within to sit in, to get absorbed, the Sakshi gets absorbed in itself. So be it. See? So here he is saying, where are we? In this way, knowing the self, Sadvastu, is being it. The self is not the object of knowledge. Self can never become the object of knowledge. Self can never be the object of knowledge. Just as easy for you to understand is that these physical eyes can never see themselves, can never know themselves, can never look at themselves. Same way, the I, the Aham, can never become the object of knowledge of Aham. The I can never become the object of knowledge of I. It is not possible. But it is the subject, it is the ultimate subject, it is the eternal subject. Then how can the knowing and the knower exist apart from each other as separate? When one wants to know the self, then how can the knowing and the knower exist apart from each other as separate when one wants to know the self? When I, the pure self, becomes the knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower of the object, the jnata, jnaya, and the knower known, differentiation, bheda is gone. When I, the pure self, becomes the knowledge. See, in Bhagavad Gita also, in Jnaneshwari, the 18th verse, what was it talking about? Jnata, Gnaya, what was it? And Jnana. Same thought is coming here. This is the general version. There also it was told about that Jnata, Jnaya and Jnanam is the general knowledge. What is specific knowledge? Karta, Karma and Karya. Karanam. So that was specific. Seer is specific. Hearer is specific. Experiencer is specific. Knower is specific. Waker is specific. Then who is so what is Jnata, Jnaya and Jnanam? That is the general knowledge. Who knows? You know all this knowledge is taking place. You know you are the knower of all the you are the knower of that seer came and went, the dreamer came and went, and the waker came and went, and the experiencer came and went, and the hunger came and went. So who is this one? Everywhere, in every subject-object relationship, knowledge has taken place, isn't it? There is a knower, there is a known, there is knowing taking place. So that general aspect is that Jnata, Jnaya and Jnanam. And that is said here. Then how can the knowing and the knower exist apart from each other? The subject, the eternal subject is also let's come one down. The witnessing subject also is the I, and the non-witnessing subject, the seer, hearer, toucher, that is also I. So are they independent of each other? So is the seer I other than the witnessing I? Is the witnessing I other than the absolute I? Is it? So where are these differences? Only in our imaginations. We have imagined, and that imagination is only on account of us accepting ourselves as this individual or as this body. That's why the differences are there. Then how can the knowing and the knower exist apart from each other as separate when one wants to know the self? When the subject is the self and the object is also the self, how can I be separate from I? I is the I. Then is there a necessity of initiating contemplation? I want to know myself. That's stupid. No, I want to know myself because scriptures are saying, no, I must study scriptures. That is also stupid. Because why? The whole world in which the scriptures are also included is not other than the I. From the absolute I is all pervasive, no? The absolute I is all pervasive. The water is all pervasive. So where is the search? Where is the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan? Where are all the differences for the wave? Only in its own imagination. In essence, everything is water only. There is no existence apart from water. So same way, there is no existence apart from the absolute I. Then where is the knower, known, knowing, hearer and differences? There are no differences. There are no differences possible. Contemplate on this. When I, the pure self, becomes the knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower of the object, the differentiation bhed is gone. So we are thinking, what are we thinking? That I am the subject, the knower, the seeker, the meditator. I am using the pramana called the thoughts. I am using the pramana, the means of knowledge of thoughts, to know what? To know the prameya. And what is the prameya? The self, the absolute I. And that absolute I at the moment is an object of knowledge. It's somewhere, I want to experience it. I want to be it. I want to know it. This disposition that I want to be it denotes, confirms our disposition that we have not accepted that we are already it. I want to know it confirms the disposition, our position that I still believe that I don't know it. See? So we are keeping ourselves separate. So through satsang what happens? Through contemplation on the self what happens? Through these type of thoughts what happens? In Mahatma what happens? How is Mahatma moving around? Where he is no longer the knower of everything. He is the absolute knower. He is the absolute self. What is his disposition? That absolute self. Is he not seeing? Is he not hearing? Is he not touching? Is he not speaking? Is he not waking? Is he not dreaming? He is doing everything. He is going through all the experiences. Then what is his disposition? His disposition is, without a doubt, that the self that I am alone has become, alone is not become, alone is expressing, I should put this way, alone is expressing as the subject, object and the instrument of knowledge. The absolute self alone is expressing as the pramata, the praman and the prameya. Just as one woman alone is expressing as the mother, daughter and sister. The eyes alone are expressing as the vision, and you believe that the world of forms is separate to the eyes. This is the biggest lie. Is the biggest lie. The eyes, because the eyes are there, therefore the forms are. Remember, pramana is only because there is prameya. The means of knowledge are only there because there is object of knowledge. They are both coexisting. They came about simultaneously. Actually, not only two of them came. For us, we can say the seer, seen and seeing came together. But in a Mahatma, the self alone has become the seer, seen, seeing. The self has alone become or is expressing as the waker, waking, awaking experience. The Pramata, Prameya and the Pramana. And therefore, he does not, in spite of the three, he does not see the differences, because his direct experience, his established, where he is established in that one without a second principle, he sees that alone everywhere. This is just a way of putting it across, that one absolute self alone is expressing as the subject, object and the instrument of knowledge. If you remember the first chapter, that Paramashiva alone desired, then he himself became Shiva and Shakti. If you take it the way Shankaracharya way, the same thing. The Ishwara, the Brahman desired, he became Ishwara and Shakti. Is the Shakti separate to the Ishwara? Not possible. With respect to Ishwara, is the Shakti manifest? No, it is unmanifest. When it becomes manifest, what happens? The first manifestation is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. When it expresses as Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, what happens to Ishwara? Ishwara alone takes the position of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So what is happening there? So is there three, or is there two, or is there one? So in that one, the Ishvara and Shakti were imagined. In the Ishvara and Shakti, the Triputi, the Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh with their consorts, they were imagined, or they are their expressions. Whichever way you put it, imagined or expressions. The phenomena goes on. Who for whom? For those who are in the world, considering themselves to be someone. The phenomena goes on. So it is one alone which is expressing as Ishvara and Shakti. It is that one Paramashiva alone who is expressing as Brahma, Brahmani, Vishnu, Lakshmi and Shiva and Parvati. That one alone is expressing as all the gods, because from these five, from the Shakti itself, the five elements came, and the Antakara, the Jnanendriyas and the mind and intellect came about. Antakaran came about. But that what you call Shakti, from which the five elements came, from which the Jnanendriyas came, from which the everything came, she is inseparable to the Ishvara. And both of them are essentially that one Paramashiva. Is that our knowledge at this moment? That one alone is expressing as the object of the world, object of knowledge. That one alone is expressing as the means of knowledge. And that one alone is expressing as the subject, knower. This transformation in our disposition has to come about. For that, the whole satsang is going on. Satsang is not to make us realize. Satsang is to sort out our shortcomings. Our shortcoming is we have become. Shortcoming is we are accepting ourselves to be the relative subject. Satsang reminds us that we are the absolute subject. And from the absolute subject point of view, everything is. There is only one, appearing as many. Water is one, appearing as many oceans and many waves. Gold is one, appearing as many ornaments. Self is one, appearing as the Triputi, appearing as the triad. So right now, as a seeker, we are here and we are looking up or looking within. A role reversal has to take place. What is that? That we are the one and we are looking at everything. That will be called witnessing. That will be called witnessing if you are not disturbed by what you are looking at. See? And then eventually there is nothing to look at because I am looking at myself. There is nothing separate. Sadachar says that in whose light these four things, namely Pramata, the knower, Prameya, the object of knowledge, and Pramiti, the knowledge of the object, and Pramanam, the means of the knowledge of the object, function and are illuminated, can that pure consciousness be known by any of these four? Not possible. Cannot be known. Can the five senses, can the objects of the world come to know the eyes? No. Can the eyes come to know their source mind? Not possible. Can the mind come to know the source, the jiva? Not possible. Can the jiva come to know the avyakta? Not possible. Can the avyakta come to know its source, the Ishvara? Not possible. Not possible. Cannot know its source. I shouldn't say Ishvara, but the Avyakta, the Paramatma. Can it come to know? No. And this is the attempt that we are making, trying to know. So all knowledge that we are pursuing is only to recognize that we don't know. We cannot come to know and be comfortable with it. Otherwise, conclusion. I think I am dumb. I think I can never understand. I think I am absolutely useless. No, that will take you in the wrong direction. Someone has said the more we know, the more we come to know that we don't know. And when you become comfortable that there is nothing to be known, when you become completely comfortable with this, that there is nothing to be known, you are there. Same thing can be put into other way. When you are undisturbed by the known or unknown, you are there. You are the Sakshi. You are transcended the known and the unknown. Seen from another angle, if I, the pure consciousness, wants to know myself, now take it subjectively, I, the pure consciousness, want to know myself. The pure consciousness, myself, the pure consciousness, there has to be first the vritti vyapti that I am. Thereafter, there cannot be the next step of phala vyapti when there is ownership of the knowledge, because the knower and the known are the same. See, what is vritti vyapti and phala vyapti? Vritti vyapti is appearance of a thought, concretization of a thought, and every thought gives a result which is called phala vyapti. So the thought came, laptop, immediately phala vyapti, the laptop form comes into my mind. If I say I'm sitting here in the room and as the thought comes rainbow, immediately in my mind the seven colors appear in phala vyapti. The thought comes my child, immediately in your mind your daughter or your son's picture or form will come. In my case nothing comes, there is zero. So vritti vyapti, this is how it is happening. Desire appears as a thought and thought leads to a result. A desire appears as a thought, and then if it is gross, you go for there. Sometimes it is you think of someone and there is no gross person, but the form of that person comes in our mind. The form of the place, the experience, memory. The thought is, desire is, oh how it was so wonderful when I had my first birthday. Immediately the memories come. Phala vyapti. See. But when it comes to the self, so you are using the word self and you want to know the self. Is there a result? Phala is the result. I want food, there is a result. Usha, this is the result. Nagraj, this is the result. Shailaja, this is the result. Laptop, this is the result. Phone, this is the result. Light, this is the result. Body, this is the result. Self, is there a result? When subject is seeking the object called myself, the pure consciousness, so self is seeking the self through the means of thought, is there a possibility of an experience, which is phala vyapti? Is there a possibility of experience? No. It is not possible. There is no result. There is no conclusion. Because when it is in the objective world, when you are thinking of something, when you are wanting something, when you are experiencing something, you are desiring something, that object is other than you. But when the I is the subject and it is seeking the object called I, which is not other than the self that you are, self seeking the self, is there phala vyapti possible? Is there a experience like I'm having the experience of you all, or laptop or phone or this house? Is an objective experience possible? Objective experience is phala vyapti. Is there phala vyapti possible? Not possible when it comes to the subject seeking the subject. So don't look forward to an experience. Don't look forward to an experience. Meditation is not a memory. It is not an experience. If you make it into an experience, you have gone into the mind has taken you for a big long ride. It's better to remain awake and in contemplation than forcing yourself to meditate. If as a result of meditation, it can be any time, it can be morning, afternoon, evening, anywhere. If it pulls you in, it's okay. But that pulling in will be as a result of your contemplation, which is 24 by 7 you are pursuing. You are not looking forward to a special event called meditation, which is greater than experiencing the world. You understand? We have to come to that point. Initially it is okay. You can pursue that. That it is the Turiya Avastha, I must go beyond waking, dream, deep sleep, I must go into meditation. But when the next stage comes, that you want to be in the Sahaj Bhav, then you cannot give it a status of importance compared to the other three. Then it is in the same category, objective. Now see. Thereafter, there cannot be the next step of phala vyapti when there is ownership of the knowledge, when there is ownership of the knowledge, because the knower and known are the same. The knower is the I and the known is the I. The subject is the I and the object is also the I. What will be the conclusion then? You find out right now. What is the conclusion? When the knower and the known are recognized, are one, meaning there is no phala vyapti, vritti also drops away. Vritti meaning the thought also drops away. Thought of seeking, who am I? That also drops away. See? Then what remains? The absolute self is all that there is. Then knowing is being. You wanted to know the self, and what is the result? You are. Now there is now in this self, the knowing and the being are one and the same. Sat and Chit are not two. Just as heat and light are nothing but the sun. They are not separate from the sun. Is heat separate from light or light separate from heat? They are one only. But we have given it words. Heat and light and sun. Cool light, hot light, million degrees light. You may call it whatever, but in the end, in essence, it is the one only. You may call it by different names, bracelet, bangle, ring, chudamani, etc. But in essence, it is gold only. You may call it triputi, you may call it subject-object instrument of knowledge, you may call it jnata, gneya, jnana, you may call it all the different names. You may call it panchakoshas, you may call it jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. You may call it whatever. But it's all one. It's all one. Knowing is being. Sat and Chit are not two. In the Vedya Vastu, the object of knowledge, though knower-known difference does not exist, or put in another way, it is that knower where there is no object of knowledge. It is that knower where there is no object of knowledge. If that is the place where you want, if that is the condition you want to reach, put this shawl over your head, keep your eyes open, there is nothing to see. Remain there without any disturbance. without any objectification, without any fear, without going mad. This is one of the meditation. Early in the morning, I used to know one sannyasini I used to stay with in Delhi, and one of her friends, she came from Bengal. Every morning she'll get up and in the dark, no light, nothing. She'll just keep looking at the wall. She gets up from the bed, turns towards the wall, and sits with eyes open. Nothing to see. Remain inside the bed, under the duna, where no light is entering. Gup andhera, complete darkness. And don't go to sleep. Remain awake. Keep your eyes open. Without getting disturbed कि how long I have to do this, अरे अभी क्या टाइम हो गया, अभी मेरे को काम पे जाना है, ये क्या स्वामी जी ने एक्सरसाइज दे दी. No, 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 no. You have to give up all doing. You have to indulge. You have to, as if there is no tomorrow. Sit with yourself. You will come to this point. Automatically you will come to this point. Whether you have studied scriptures or not studied scripture doesn't matter. What is that? It is that knower the subject where there is no object of knowledge. Because in that darkness, darkness is emptiness. Emptiness is nothingness. No thoughts, no imaginations, no references, no object of knowledge. No, I am seeing darkness. Darkness is not a thing to be seen. Kenopanishad, our Indra also went and kept looking at that point, isn't it? Same thing. Same exercise is here. It's not given in the book, I am giving you one. Keep looking at that spot. Keep looking at the mind without objectifying anything. Keep looking at yourself because this process is going on in your mind. The I is the thought in the mind. I is searching for what? Before it was searching for the world, wanting to experience the world. Now it has realized it's not worth it. Let me seek myself. So seeker means I seeking the I through the instrument called the mind. And the moment mind seeks the self, the I, the knower, it will be like Indra coming to that point where the yaksha vanishes. The I will vanish. The objectification will vanish. And you wait there. And it will vanish. Then what will happen? You watch, get there and find out. Upanishad is telling you, Amma will come. She will tell. Phenomena continues. But for whom? For others. देखो कैसे कनेक्ट हो गया इसके साथ केनोपनिषद भी. It is that knower subject where there is no object of knowledge, and that is my true nature. The thought concludes, Manauni Satchit Sukha He Bola Vastu Vachaka Navheti He Shesha Vicharanse. The above inquiry thus concludes that the terms Satchidananda are unable to indicate the self. Lo. with so many examples, so many ways of putting it, what is the conclusion? The word Satchidananda do not conclude, do not, are unable to indicate the self. Because in the end they are only words. Words are only to, yes, very, very powerful words. Such existence, which absolute existence, absolute consciousness. Still it is word only. But it is only to cancel the opposite. Self, the reality, our essential nature cannot become and is not subservient to the thoughts. It is independent. It is self-knowing. It is self-existing. It is self-determined. It doesn't determine. It is not determined because someone says so. It is not determined by the senses. It is not determined by the intellect. It is not determined by the concepts. It is not determined by the scriptures. It is self-determined. From the above thought, it can be concluded that the three words Sat, Chit and Ananda are incompetent to indicate the truth. Whole life we have been listening Satchidananda tu hi tu. भजन आता ना एक, भगवान इज सच्चिदानंदा, परमात्मा इज सच्चिदानंदा, Narayana is Satchidananda, Shiva is Satchidananda, and now you are telling us that Bhagwan is not Satchidananda, that the Atma is not Satchidanand Swarup. I am really confused. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Words, the basic rule is the words which are finite in nature, all words are finite in nature only. They are incompetent and are unable to illuminate that which is of the nature of infinite. Impossible. Incompetent to indicate the truth. Once this knowledge is grasped, one cannot even say Aham Brahmasmi. See? The word Aham Brahmasmi, the statement Aham Brahmasmi is, some people do chanting of that also. How long you should do the chanting of that, or you keep remembering that or contemplating on that? As long as there is something to be removed. How long will the flame continue? As long as there is camphor to be burnt. Once the camphor is burnt, the flame also goes away. So that also goes away. Yad vacha nabhyuditam yena vag abhyudhyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. Where did we hear this? Kenopanishad. What speech cannot reveal, but what reveals the speech, know that alone as Brahman, and it is you and not this that people worship objectively here. So when people go and touch the feet of the Lord in a temple, are they touching the feet? Where is your attention? Is your attention on the form, or is it that divinity which is expressing as existence, if I want to just use that, which is expressing as that form? When you touch the feet of a master, or you see some scripture and you do namaskar, 10 baar marte ho, matha tekte ho, what is it for? Is it to the book or the knowledge that is present in the book? What is present in the book, in the scriptures? Only words, only thoughts, only, you know, finite words. Then what are you touching your head at the book for? What they are representing, isn't it? What they are indicating. They can only indicate. They cannot take you there. They can only indicate. Words can only indicate. But when you come to a text like Amrit Anubhav, we are using the words only. We are still, from how many months we are speaking only in words. Expression of thoughts, you are also hearing the words only. And they are forming thoughts in your mind. But through these thoughts, what conclusion have we come to? That among all the thoughts, the highest thought is Satchidananda, which is, we have been told, we have been hearing that it is not other than the divine. And what is being told here? Now that these words Satchidananda also cannot indicate the divine, because in the end they are words only. See? आनंद लो इसका and become mad, be mad. That's all. No conclusion, no phalavyapti. That is who I am in essence. I'm not a conclusion. The moment I take myself to be in conclusion, that conclusion will express as I was born, I have a form, these are my parents, I am a brother or a sister, I was in India now. This is all conclusions. I is not a conclusion. When you know it directly, when you know it aparokshatvena, when you come to know the I without any means of knowledge, when you come to know I as I without a thought, that is aparokshatvena. To be intensely in this thought, what I just said, to be intensely in that thought is to be an effortless being. Cover your head, keep your eyes open, don't go to sleep, don't imagine anything. You are there. You are there. This is only beginning. After that, it does not matter whether you are inside the shawl or outside the shawl. Nahi to self is only inside the shawl. That conclusion should not come. Just like we had a conclusion, Satchidanand is Paramatma. No, 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 no. Satchidanand is only to cancel Asat, Achit and Dukkham. It is not Paramatma. Paramatma is self-existing. Oh, the self is inside the shawl when I kept my... No, 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 no. That was only a beginning. Self is self-existing. It does not need a shawl. It does not need a cover-up. It does not need the eyes open or closed. It does not need a thinking mind or a non-thinking mind. It does not need waking dream or deep sleep or samadhi. It is in spite of everything. And it is everything. When we use this type of words, we can't form a concept in our mind. ये क्या बोल क्या रहा है? पागल है क्या ये? But that's how it is. That's how it is. That is your nature. That is your natural state. To be intensely in this thought is to be an effortless being. That is the culmination of all scriptural thoughts, all sadhana. That is meditation, where every moment is lived with nothing other than the independent existence of one's own being. आहा, इतना सुनने के बाद अगर अंदर से इफ वी आर नॉट देयर एट दिस मोमेंट, in spite of talking, in spite of listening, in spite of everything, how much more clearly any master can tell us? That is meditation. Meditation is not a special event. What is meditation? Where every moment is lived with nothing other than the independent existence of one's own being. What do you mean by independence of one's own being? You are not denying, because till this body is there, the body is there, the mind is there, the Triputi is there, the waker, dreamer, sleeper is there. You are not denying anything, but you are not available to them. You are available to yourself as yourself without a thought. That is the independence of being. Live in this contemplation, live in this awareness for the rest of your life and be blessed. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.